Paul, is there any truth to the rumor that Ace is leaving the band?
No, I sure hope not. I saw him this morning. He said he wasn't leaving the band.
Free socks.
International interview with the group Kiss featuring Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. And we're going to go first of all cut by cut through the album title, beginning with Paul, Creatures of the Night.
The idea with Creatures of the Night was we really wanted a song that would sum up the album, and we like to open albums with a real direct, straight-ahead song. And the lyrics on Creatures of the Night are basically saying that we all live for the night. We all like to come out at night and get crazy. Somehow it seems that you can get away with things when it's dark out that you wouldn't dare do during the day. And I don't think we're any different than anybody else. We kind of hide in the shadows. And you wait for the right time to come out and fight.
It wasn't one of the tunes you wrote right from the start, right?
Actually, it was written about midway through the album when the identity of the album was coming together, and we pretty much knew what we were going for with the album, and then it was a matter of really fine-tuning what we were doing and writing songs that would tend to hold everything together. Creatures of the Night, I think, summed up the identity of the album, which really has a certain heavy, dark kind of quality to it.
Gene Simmons.
Bang Sinner is a title that I've had for a couple of years and never really figured out what kind of lyrics to go along with the title. And, I've got a catalog of these titles that intrigue me. And Bang Sinner, I finally figured out, is really a conversation between two people. The guy, me, is saying to the girl, so you're a saint and I'm a sinner, so what? She's really missing the point, which is that it's time for breakup, so she can kiss my heart bye-bye. That's really the premise of the song. And this girl is still harping on the fact that she's a saint and that I'm a sinner, that I fool around. But she's really missing the point. So it's kind of a, you're trying to shake her and wake up. It's over between us. That's really the point of the song.
Paul, when Gene plays the tunes in the studio, can you be honest with him and tell him, yes, it works, yes, it doesn't work?
I think so. Sometimes it may be a little painful because... sometimes I think you may believe in a certain song, and it sometimes takes somebody on the outside to be able to say, well, in the scheme of things or in what we're doing, it may not particularly work. Sometimes songs come along that are great songs, but may not work within the concept we're doing. We've recorded for Creatures probably about 17 songs. There were probably about 40 up for consideration. Of the 17, 9 made it onto the record. The other ones were very good songs. They just didn't hold together as well in the scheme of the album. Sometimes, though, there are songs that come along where I have to be convinced after a while, and I stand corrected. Sometimes it turns out that a song may belong on the album.
Saint Sinner was one of them.
No, Saint Sinner, I knew from the beginning was a very good song, and especially because early on we went into the studio to see what the song sounded like live. And if we sounded good doing them live, that was more a plus in its favor. Another point towards, well, this probably will make it onto the album. And it was pretty obvious in rehearsals which songs would work and which wouldn't.
Now I give Gene a chance to attack Paul's work. Keep me coming.
Keep me coming. In fact, it's ironic. We had completely finished the album. We were in the process of mixing, and then we were told that for some legal reason we had to cut another song. We couldn't use one of the songs. And pretty much right before we started, in fact, we were already mixing, that Paul came up with Keep Me Coming, and we booked a studio, learned it in the studio, and we were in New York. That was recorded in New York, whereas the rest of the stuff was recorded in Los Angeles. 2 different studios in New York, and I think it's a plus. I mean, we really knew what we were going for, in that you really can't tell the difference in the sounds, even though we recorded the album literally in something close to 4 or 5 different studios. Most of the tracks were recorded in one place, and then the overdubbing was done in quite a number of different studios. But the sounds are all there. They're very consistent from beginning to end. And Keep Me Coming was really recorded, was the absolute last song recorded and written by Paul.
You have to feel pretty confident, Paul, to know that you have to be able to write on a moment's notice.
I'm not, at this point, after 17 albums, I'm not somebody that likes to spend my free time writing songs. Initially, I think it was much more interesting to sit around and write all the time. I much rather approach each song as a project. There's work to be done. So I had pretty much closed up shop, so to speak, when we were mixing the album and figured that the work was over with. Once there was a need for another song, then it was time to, organize pretty literally overnight and figure out what kind of song is needed and what's got to be written. I enjoy working like that. I enjoy the pressure of, it almost becomes like a puzzle or a chess game. What do you need? What's needed at this point, and how do you get it?
Rock and Roll Hell.
Rock and Roll Hell is really the story of a guy, can be any age, in Middle America someplace where boredom is setting in and the guy is just dying to get out of his environment. Doesn't want to work 9 to 5, doesn't want to do what everybody else is forced to do, and the premise of the whole song is really get me out of this rock and roll hell. Just, he's even willing to steal a guitar, which is one of the lyrics in the song. And I think everybody gets that feeling, you just want to break loose and not have any more rules, no chains holding you down. You want to do whatever it is that you can see yourself doing, and that's really what rock and roll hell is all about.
Is it autobiographical at all?
Yeah, I think so. Frustration doesn't have to be a way of life. It's just, sometimes frustration sets in. Sometimes you're in places where you don't want to be. You're at a party where you don't want to be. You go visit somebody out of, loyalty or whatever, and you don't want to be there. And in the back of your mind, you're really saying, get me out of this. I don't want to be here.
Danger. It kind of sums up what the group is about, doesn't it?
I think so. We've always lived dangerously. We've never conformed to rules. We don't dress according to fashion. We don't wear high heels because it's in. We don't wear them because it's out. We dress the way we want. We wear the kind of clothes we want. I think you have to live extremes to know what you want. The song basically says, give me measures of pleasure and pain. Give me both. Boil the blood in my veins. Just show me the limit. I want to know the limit.
You guys have to pretty much agree on this stuff, and it's nice when things are written that you can all relate to.
I think we're lucky. A lot of bands have fights about direction and all that, and the only thing that we ever have are disagreements about the degrees, because everybody agrees on the same direction. We agreed, you obviously have to agree on the same direction if everybody's wearing makeup and high heels and running around like crazy. So we all have the same vision. And then the only disagreements that come up are the extent to which, you want to go either left or right in that direction. So we're really lucky. There's never been any fights. We've certainly never had any fisticuffs, which always sounds like the end of a shirt, you put on fisticuffs. But never anything like that.
You guys have been known as a fairly loud group.
The loudest.
One of the songs kind of relates a little bit to you.
Yeah, I Love It Loud, which seems to be the single here in America. I think it's all over the world. I Love It Loud really started off as a song called Loud and Proud, which was a kind of a phrase that I had, another one of those little titles that really sums up the feelings, again, of, you're at home and you want to play your stereo as loud as you want, play your favorite song by your favorite group, and you don't want to play it low. When you really feel it, you want to turn it up, as loud as you can do it. You want to feel the noise. And everybody, of course, always tells you, hey, come on, turn it down. Your friends don't understand why you're crazy about that song. That's really what the song is all about. And I Love It Loud, the title change really happened because it fit better with the melody and the rhythm of the song. And then, in fact, turned out to be a better title, I think, because it summed up a real personal feeling. And, it's no secret. Everybody that comes to our concerts knows that we're not going to sit on stools and play acoustic guitars. That's what it's about. It's I Love It Loud. And right between the eyes.
You guys are a very versatile group. You've known Paul more for your rock and roll hills kind of type of songs, but you still do write some love songs. Still love you.
Well, hopefully that's about as much of a ballad as you'll hear from Kiss in the future. It's funny because there were times when I would play that for people and go, this is our ballad, and then they would listen and laugh. It's hardly a ballad. I think love is at its best when it makes you scream, and whether it's good or bad, it should make you feel something in your heart, whether you're tearing your heart out or whatever. So it's
if you're getting a heart on.
Right. So if it's a love song, great. I would hate to do anything that's pablum, so to speak. I would hate to do a song that has a guy groveling at somebody's feet. I don't think it's that at all.
Killer, another song that kind of sums up the group.
Killer is really a girl song. The way I see girls anyway, girls that really have an effect on you are not the peachy keen, hello, I'm stupid, kind of girls. They're killers. They dress the way they want to dress, usually high heels, and they don't really take any doo-doo. How can you say that on radio? They don't really take anything from anybody, and that makes somebody that much more appealing. New York kind of a girl, goes out at night, she goes where she wants to, and she's got her own moral standards. She's with whomever she wants to be with. Killer is really my idea of a girl. A girl is always that much more appealing when she has her own sense of herself. The stronger she is, the more appealing she is. It's always sexier to know that the girl doesn't have to be with you. She doesn't really need you. And then when she says, yes, give it to me, that she's there because she wants to be and she really wants it. That's much sexier than a kind of a wash away kind of a girl who's there because, she's afraid and she's all alone. Killer's a strong, strong girl. I like that.
Sequencing is always important. You kind of segue right into War Machine, right after Killer.
War Machine was really written around the stage idea. Our entire stage is really one large machine. It's really not a stage in the sense that there are amplifiers and, obviously we've got amplifiers on stage, but that's not the design. The design of the entire stage is one huge tank. The drum riser is, obviously the largest drum riser you've seen, and it's a gun turret. And we've got tank treads from the very back of the stage going to the very front. So you literally, there's that, the entire stage with this is one big machine. And it's really not a commentary on war. War Machine is more a description of a kind of intensity. 11 cities, too. I think 100 cities. It's really a description of an intensity. And in the lyrics, it says, you better watch out because I'm a war machine. It doesn't really mean that I'm going to go out and kill people. It's really just the stage and the design, and obviously our fan club is the Kiss Army. We're really not talking about military as much as unity. We all wear the same, we all believe in the same thing, which is rock and roll. We fly the rock and roll banner, and the entire stage is just a big tank. And anybody that sees the show, anybody that's seen any Kiss show always knows that they're going to get the best show in the world. And I think this is absolutely the finest and the best Kiss show we've ever done, and so that makes it the best show in the world.
Paul, is there any truth to the rumor that Ace is leaving the band?
No, I sure hope not. I saw him this morning. He said he wasn't leaving the band. Seriously, though, during our press conference, he let it be known. We tried to keep it kind of quiet for a few months, and I'm sure that's how some of the rumors started. What happened was Ace was in a bad car accident and totaled his Porsche, went over a brick wall, and it's really amazing that he's alive. He had some pretty serious injuries, and some of them don't heal particularly quickly. He injured his back, and he's been in quite a bit of pain. As far as I know, he's still seeing a doctor, and he's still taking pain medication. There's really nothing more we can say except that he's doing his share, and he's doing as much as he can, but he, for a number of reasons, didn't want it known that he was in a bad car accident.
Gene, were you ever nervous that he might not be able to continue with the band?
Oh, sure. Right before we started the record, we went into rehearsals, and then Ace didn't show up, and then we found out that he was in the hospital, and it was pretty serious. And then we had the choice of either standing still and waiting for Ace to get better and waiting with the record. We decided not to. We decided to go ahead and start working on the material and work on the record. And it's obvious, usually Ace has a song or two on a record. It's obvious that Ace doesn't have a song on the record, but as soon as he got better, he picked up the guitar, came into the studio, and put down some fine solos, some of the best he's done. I also think that it's obvious that Paul's become a much better guitar player, as you can tell by a lot of the solos on the record. So, in a lot of ways, interestingly enough, even ironically enough, I think it's the best record we've had yet. It's certainly the most honest. We just turned the amps up and recorded what we'd written. This is Kiss today.
Kiss always has some rumors surrounding it. Does that bother you, Paul?
I think it's great. It's an indication that we're much more than a band. Most bands are boring. The people in them are inconsequential. They don't matter. They're not very colorful people. And not many people are interested in what they're doing. In the case of a band like Kiss, in the case of any phenomenon, there's always rumors that surround them, and that's part of what makes you bigger than life, is that when people don't have answers, they make their own.
It has been a while since you guys have been on tour. One of the reasons, I'm sure, was Ace's injury, but there are other reasons.
It's just simple. We didn't feel like it. We haven't been on an American tour in 3 years. We just didn't feel like it. But we toured Europe and Australia in 80. Massive tour, outdoor dates, 40,000 seaters, 2 days in a soccer stadium in Sydney, and basically outdoor venues outside in Australia. And in Europe they were indoors. Massive audiences, big success, we had a great time. And we didn't tour, we're approaching our 10th anniversary. This New Year's Eve is going to be 10 years since Kiss is a band. Like it or not, we're here. We're here to stay, and we've been doing this a long time, and we haven't toured America in 3 years because simply we didn't feel like it. Now we want it. We want to go out and show everybody what the best show in the world looks like, and that's why we're going out. Not because it's time, not because anybody's telling us to, but because we feel like it.
We always do things 100%. If we can't commit ourselves to something, then we don't do it. There's no reason to tour because, in essence, we just didn't feel like doing it. And there's no sense, at least for Kiss, to go out and coast through a tour, to kind of fake a tour, go through the motions. We don't do things unless we can believe in it and get behind it. And we're into touring right now. We want to go out, and that means when we're ready to do it, that means nobody can do it better.
And to hell with bad times, to hell with the economy the way it is, we're going out with the biggest show on the road, period.